This platter of food is just amazing. And to top it all off, wine from the farm. Wish we could get sun-dried tomatoes like these in Portugal. So good. Look how fancy this is, and it's just a knock on the front door. Light, moist crust on the outside, and then almond paste on the inside, topped with slivered almonds. It's warm. Delicious. Welcome to Destination Eat Drink, the travel channel for foodies. I'm Brent Peterson, an American living in Portugal. Today we are in Malta. And you might be wondering where Malta is. A lot of people don't know. It's an island chain south of Sicily, between Sicily and North Africa in the Mediterranean Sea. It's a small country, and it's really, really cool and beautiful and interesting to explore. So we're going to start off our day, do some interesting stuff, have some nice food. We're starting at Cafe Santa Lucia, and they've been around for 50 years. And we're going to power up with a little breakfast and get going on our day here. So what do we get? I got a mushroom quiche. The mushrooms are good. And then this is a little treat that you have to get when you come to Malta. It's this little date-filled pastry. And this one is topped with powdered sugar. But this, you'll see like little pop-up stands throughout Malta that serve this little treat. That's warm. Sugar adds a nice flavor to it, but dates are so good here. Delicious. All right. So that should do the job. We're going to go see some interesting historical stuff today and hopefully have some more great food. British had a colony here in Malta up until 1964 when Malta became independent. And this is a memory of the British colonization here, these old classic British phone booths. But now this one is not used as a phone booth anymore. It's used for first aid. There's a defibrillator in here, which I think is a great use for these things. One of the things I love about Mdina, Malta really in general, is the fanciful door knockers. But here in Mdina, you see tons of these. They're everywhere. I mean, look how fancy this is, and it's just a knock on the front door. Time for lunch. This is the Chalk Cafe, and this place just looked really cool, so we decided to come in. I wasn't aware of it before we got to Malta. What did we get? Oh, and this balcony. So they've got this outdoor seating, and this is it. I mean, it's me and Karen sitting out on this tiny little balcony. Look how wide it is. I can't even spread my arms out. So it's a perfect little cozy spot. I got the Ftira. And Ftira is the bread itself. This is famous Maltese bread. And on the inside, they often make sandwiches out of it. You can get it just Ftira with just tomato sauce. But this is a Ftira sandwich. Olives, sun-dried tomatoes, broad beans, lettuce, and the tomato sauce. So it's a big sandwich. I mean, this is half of it. Look at the size of this. I'm trying to put this thing back together if I can. Let's have a nice big bite. Sun-dried tomatoes make it extra, extra rich. So Ftira typically has nice crust on the outside, soft on the inside. I've seen it done different ways. Some it's more airy on the inside, more like pizza dough. This is more like a bun almost. Super good. Karen got a salad. olive, tomato, broad beans, lettuce, cabbage. All right, that's a big bite. Super fresh, yummy. All right. Good job, Chalk Cafe. Wish we could get sun-dried tomatoes like these in Portugal. So good. These are the catacombs of St. Paul, below St. Paul's Church, but they really don't have anything originally to do with the St. Paul's Church. These are Roman era catacombs, maybe 3,000 to 4,000 years old, and these were used for the burial of dead Romans. And this is apparently the largest catacombs in all of Malta. There's several different areas down here. We're in catacomb number 1. This was used for Christian burials, but there's also catacombs around here for, and we're going to go visit them, for Jewish people as well, and maybe some other religions too. But they excavated this and they found some amazing stuff. There's a museum upstairs where you can see all the stuff that Romans were buried with, pottery and jewelry and all kinds of different things that they were buried with. But this is a really cool place to wander around in, unless you have claustrophobia, because there's areas in here that are really tight and kind of dark as well. So it's a cool place to visit, maybe a little bit on the creepy side though. So I know that they said this was the largest series of catacombs in Malta. I didn't realize how huge this was, because in the first area there's 4 catacombs and 2 of them are closed off so you can't go in. I thought, oh, all right, well, we get to go see 2 catacombs. No, you cross the street and there's like another 30 catacombs, and they're all pretty well labeled. There's ones for Christian, there's ones for pagan, and there's ones for Jewish. This is a Jewish catacomb. So we're going to go down and take a look at that, see if there's any Jewish relics down there or any kind of Jewish symbolism down in this catacomb. So this catacomb is pretty small, and this entrance here is maybe, I don't know, less than 4 feet tall. So you really have to crouch down to get in here. And apparently there is engraving of a menorah back there. I tried to see it. I couldn't, the light's too low back there to see, so I couldn't see it, but apparently there is Jewish symbolism back in this catacomb. This is Piazza Mesquita inside the city walls of Mdina, and this place was made famous in the TV show Game of Thrones. It was the exterior of the brothel in season 1, apparently. I don't know, I've never seen Game of Thrones, but it's part of a larger idea of this film tourism that's become so huge. A bunch of Game of Thrones apparently was shot here in Medina, including the city gate of Medina, which served as the entrance to King's Landing. I think that's the name of it. But Game of Thrones isn't the only place that film tourism has taken off. I call it film and TV tourism because Game of Thrones was a TV show. But Dubrovnik has become absolutely inundated with tourists who are interested in seeing Game of Thrones sites. So that's a big deal. Harry Potter sites, everyone's trying to take advantage of Harry Potter. Every city it seems like you go to in Europe, they got some Harry Potter site that has nothing to do with the movie or the books. James Bond, you'll see a lot of film tourism going on, and of course in New Zealand there is Lord of the Rings tourism. So it's a big deal, it's happening quite a bit, and if you come to Malta, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, got to come to Mdina. Behind me is the St. Paul's Cathedral. They say that there was a church here dating back as far as the 13th century, but this one was built in the late 17th century after the great earthquake of 1693 that destroyed a bunch of Sicily and also wreaked a lot of havoc here in Malta. So because it was built in the late 17th century, it's done in the Baroque style. You might not be able to tell that from the exterior, but you go to the interior, it's pretty impressive. Giant ceilings, tons of artwork. And then if you buy your ticket to go inside, it's currently 10 euros. You can also go across the way to the St. Paul's Cathedral Museum. And it's there that if you didn't realize how rich the Catholic Church is, there's where you really get a feeling for it. All the carved silver, just absolutely ornate and incredible. Tons and tons of artwork dating from medieval times up through the Renaissance. And lots of other artifacts as well. It's really quite impressive. But I understand that church fatigue is a real thing when you come to Europe. So if you want to skip it, you can. There are other churches that you can visit here that are free. So enough culture and pointy-headed history. Let's enjoy ourselves on the rooftop here at Cafe Gustave. This is an interesting cafe because it's inside a Palazzo museum. So when you come in, they're going to expect you to pay to see the museum. You just ask the person up front and you say, I want to go to Gustave Cafe, and they'll tell you how to get here. You come up a couple flights of stairs and you have some of the most amazing views in all of Mdina. Behind me is the St. Paul's Cathedral, but it's just gorgeous up here, and it's very quiet and away from the bustle of all the tourist groups that come to Mdina every single day. So what do we get? This is called a fola, which is filled with almond. They have several others that are filled with different kinds of stuff. I wanted to get the almond one. Let's give it a try. Light, moist crust on the outside, and then almond paste on the inside, topped with slivered almonds. It's warm. Delicious. Probably a perfect thing to go with is a little espresso. It's not bad. All right. Kick back and relax, and then I guess we're going to go see some more churches or something. Who knows? This is the Carmelite Priory, a Carmelite church here in Mdina, and it's free to get in, and it's worth taking a minute to look inside. On the ceiling, there's a really nice fresco, and behind the altar, there's a painting called The Annunciation from the late 17th century. Really nice. You can't get too close, but you can see it, and it's really very, very well done. This is Dar El Benay, and this is a true farm-to-table restaurant. They have their own farm, so it's real farm-to-table. A few miles outside of Mdina, we took the bus out here, and luckily they had the contactless payment, so I just paid with my credit card right on the bus. Cool. So, this giant platter of food. What did we get? Well, we started with some olive oil and some bread. They have their own olive grove there. So they have their own olive oil at the farm. That's amazing. How many restaurants do you go to where they press their own olive oil? And it's really, really good. So fresh and fruity, delish. I got the vegetable soup. It's called widow's soup. I don't know why, but it's a vegetable soup, tomato broth based. Wow, delish, so good. Comes with a little of their farm cheese on top. Mm, 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 mm. Salty, but still fresh, delicious. All right. Everything from the farm. So great. Their olives. They've got a selection of these dips here. This first one. Hummus. Spicy. Delicious. This is a tomato. Yeah. Sweet. Broad beans. They love their broad beans here in Malta. Mm, buttery. A little parsley on there. So good. That one, I'm not sure. Something fermented. Um, and then, as if that wasn't enough, we get these crackers with all this cheese. Man, fresh cheese from the farm. Mm, that's an aged one. Mm, that tastes like a sheep's milk cheese. Man, this platter of food is just amazing. And to top it all off, wine from the farm. If you want to take stuff home with you, there's a little shop right here. When you first walk in, they sell their wine. I think they sell their limoncello, prickly pear liqueur, and then of course all of their little jarred things. So they're pickled eggs in a jar. They have. It's an amazing place and really one of the highlights when you come to Malta. Really great. Absolutely delicious. Well, that's it for this video here in Medina and Rabat. Did some really cool stuff here. It's easy to get here from Valletta, so make sure it's part of your trip, even if you're not a Game of Thrones fans. I'm certainly not. I've never even seen the show. A lot of people come here for the Game of Thrones sites, but you don't have to. Just come here and enjoy the great food and the cool medieval sites. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it if you like the video as well. And if you're planning a trip to Portugal, I've got my ebook of all the great foodie places to visit throughout Portugal. 17 city guides in one book. You can get that at buymeacoffee.com/destination eat drink. I'm Brent Peterson. See you down the road. Although I might be here for a while. So good. Some wine is the perfect complement to this cheese.
You like, but sometimes he tell you go away, That's why I was here. And it is fine. You do like this.